In the last 10 episodes, we talked a lot about metabolic adaptation and slowed down metabolism. And we discovered what the reasons are, what the symptoms are, and also what the solutions are. And if you enjoyed these episodes, if you found that, yes, this is exactly me, you're talking about me, I have been working out like crazy. I have been cutting my calories down lower and lower and lower. I've been maybe doing keto or found other diets to hopefully get the weight down, but nothing is happening. So if this is you, I have some great news for you. So on Monday, May 24th, I am opening my brand new course called Metabolic Reset. And this is meant for exactly for a person just like you. And this is a brand new program that you do at your own pace. Okay, so there's no coaching involved, but you log into the portal and you have step-by-step instructions on how to do essentially your own reverse diet. So reverse diet basically means gradually increasing your calories to the point where your body is healthy again without gaining excess weight. And I will teach you everything that I know. I will teach you exactly the tools and tips and methods that I use with my one-on-one clients who have had great success with this method, but you're going to do this on your own. There's going to be quite a bit math involved, so you have to do a lot of calculations. You have to know how to adjust your numbers. It's helpful if you have some experience with macro tracking. It's definitely helpful. But if you don't have any experience, you can still do the program because I'm teaching you literally everything from the very beginning until the end of your reverse diet. This program is 8 weeks long and you can literally take it at your own pace. If you feel like you're not ready to get started now, you can start it later. But make sure that you get the program because it will go away soon again. So it opens up May 24th and it's going to be open 5 days only. If you are on my emailing list, then you already have this information. If you're not on the list yet, but you want to get the discount and you want to learn about it before everybody else, just leave me a comment, leave me your email address. You can also send it to me on Instagram and I will add you to my emails so you get the early bird discount before everybody else. Once again, the program opens on May 24th and will be open for 5 days only. And now let's get to the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Wives podcast. And today I have another guest with me and she's actually my client. Her name is Priscilla. And she's awesome. And she has gone through a really interesting journey with her weight loss, weight gain multiple times up and down. And the reason why I wanted to have her here is that her reasons why she wanted to lose weight were not necessarily like aesthetics oriented, or maybe a little bit, but she's very active and she's boxing a lot. So for her, it was more like performance driven. So would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. Well, the aesthetic part is always, I think, as a woman, everybody wants to look good, right? Mm-hmm. So you always have a little bit of beauty standards, even on your personal opinion, you want to look in a certain way. Yeah. But in my case, it was definitely sports and athletic performance driven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see that actually a lot, especially with runners. You know, when you're lighter. Up until a certain point, of course, when you're lighter, you may be able to improve your marathon time. So, you know, there are certain advantages. You can do more pull-ups if that's your thing. But it's interesting, your thing is boxing. And I personally don't know too many people who are, you know, doing boxing, so much. And you even have a couple of titles and you have accomplished quite a bit.
Yes, and also when you love what you do, it's still not enough. You like if I can't make it, might as well die trying because you're gonna enjoy the journey. My problem was when I was like, am I really enjoying this journey? Because I didn't realize something got wrong and I wasn't being followed the right way. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you live, a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So as you said, my name is Priscilla, or Priscilla, as I was used to being called in America. Yes. Well, actually, I'm Italian. I was born in northern Italy. I grew up and stayed there until the age of 17. And then after that, I wanted to do my adventure and be an exchange student. So I ended up in Atlanta, Georgia, well, right outside of it, and I loved it. That was the first year that there was like the first big changes. And now I live in Luxembourg. And like there's a lot of Italians in Luxembourg actually, but so I went through most of my adult age as back and forward. As I mentioned, after this exchange student year, I had to go back to Italy. And let's start with the day that I was back in Italy. And everybody noticed how I gained weight, because I wasn't quite an athlete yet. I mean, I was already boxing because it was I was doing it more for fun. My dad was a boxer and my brother was a boxer. My uncle. It was like a family thing, and for me at the beginning, it was something to do in the house for fun. Something can be a stress relief. I wasn't seeing it as a tool to lose weight at the time, because I wasn't. Let's say I wasn't overweight, but I also could have lost some weight. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that for fun as soon as I got back after that exchange student. So I started boxing at 18. And I didn't have the ambition of doing everything else that I'll talk about. But so I lost a lot of weight all at once that year. And I started boxing when I realized that was like, oh, I'm actually good at this. I can actually stick to it. And I noticed how good it was for my brain to be focused in a performance and not just, oh, let's lose weight. And I think that's a healthy approach, to just do something because you enjoy it and because you feel good while you do it. And that's great. Everybody should find something like that. It could be boxing, weight training, could be many things. Mm-hmm. Then right after I finished my studies in Italy, I decided to go back to Georgia because I liked it so much. So I spent about from 18 until just 2 years ago, so almost 8 years in the States. I'm now 27, but I lived and worked there for the past, let's say, 5 years that I was a resident, and I started boxing and trained boxing just by, it was really random. One day I was looking for a gym to be like, I just moved here and I'm looking for a boxing gym where I can compete. And then I was actually offered to teach boxing, and so I got certified and make sure I knew what I was doing in terms of like boxing training, but for fun, like for fitness side. Mm-hmm. And that's what got me even more focused in my sport. And I was able to combine my own training and practicing competition, and also just stay in the gym and help others with just sharing my passion. So then I did most of my fights there in Georgia. I got a few titles as Georgia State Golden Gloves. So in a few years back to back, and other tournaments too. The problem was when I could, since I wasn't a citizen, I could only qualify as state. So at some point I was like, okay, it's been a few years, might as well move back. And also for family reason, I decided to go back. And also to be able to fight on a national level. So my last fights were in Italy, where I could be at training at national championship. Mm-hmm. And right after that, for other reasons, I moved to Luxembourg because I wanted to, find different jobs, and I already had my connections here, and so I started my new life here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So okay, you got into boxing because your family was into it, your dad and your brother. You just, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So you started out, it was fun, but then at one point things got a little not so healthy for you anymore, and so you started kind of boxing also to lose weight. Is that true?
Yes. So let's say that I got to one point where I got in really good shape without trying dieting. I was just really active by teaching group classes at Title Boxing. So it was like that was how I had to gain money to earn money. So it wasn't, and I when I was having fun. everything changed when I started running. And at first, just because I heard from men, of course, we always try to be just as good as men. I thought everything a man can do, we can do it, if not even better, right? And so I started trying to run, like really, I wanted to always be like, see if I can get 3 miles in less than 90 minutes. And every time it became like that. So that was really good until I just for some reason decided to go longer than that, and that started making me even hungrier. And in my head, I was like, I know I shouldn't eat that much. I know I shouldn't exaggerate with carbs, and I thought I knew it all.
Yeah.
Or like we all think, yeah, carbs, you can't excess carbs or fats, right? But I should have gotten a professional advice before just cutting weight by searching for the quick remedies. So every time maybe I had a weekend where I was having fun, and then you end up the Monday after like, whoa, it's up. Let's talk in pounds this way. Whoa, now it's up 5 pounds. I better run 6 miles and everything is fixed. So I had a time where I started using running to fix the bad diet of the weekend. And that's the worst thing anybody can do. So it took me way too much to understand that you cannot ever out-train a bad diet.
Yeah.
Outwork it, yes. So I started this running almost chronically, also because the beauty thing of running is the gym is closed, you're traveling, you can always go for a run and burn off some steam. Sometimes it's not even just the calories, just it becomes a habit. You're searching for that dopamine that sweats and makes you feel good.
Sure.
Everybody has it. And so it just became too much until I had to run even more. And I would end up maybe gaining some weight because, and sometimes it was just water weight, but I wouldn't measure it the way it should be. So the worst was when I realized I had to lose those 5 kilos, 10 pounds in just a few days. And sometimes you don't know when you're fighting, because the problem with female boxing is there aren't that many girls. So if you want to make a good record, you're trying to pick up all the fights that you can. And sometimes you're not expecting to fight until somebody calls you, hey, we have a girl for you, can you fight this weekend? And you're like, sure, at what weight? So my weight that I felt the best at it when I was feeling healthy and not trying so much was 141 pounds. That was my weight class. Although my first 2 fights, 3, I was at a weight class more, 151. That was without running, without dieting. That was when my weight was just stable right there, without training, not even too much. Then as I became serious about it and dreaming to do it professionally, which I still do, but I'm more humble about the experience and respecting my body. So I started to want to stay at 41, and then back to that bad weekend, gain a few pounds, run, slow down metabolism. So these weight cuts where I would lose 10 pounds in 1 week, which is really unhealthy. I started doing it a few times every few months. I was doing it, and it really messed up my metabolism. But I didn't realize. I just thought, okay, my body just doesn't want it, or I have too much muscle. I need to get rid of this muscle. I really had no idea.
Right.
And the worst weight cut that I did was after several of these quick fixes. It was in 2019 when I was back in Italy, and I was like, okay, this time I'm fighting for my country, with my dad being in my corner. This is gonna be my best fight, winning or losing. The tournament, the experience, going out of town. And again, for me, it was in my country. I get a real national title, and with my dad, that was also, that's really personal satisfaction. So at that point, I remember I was 2 months out, and I was like, I still have these 3 kilos left to lose. So let's say 6 or 7 pounds. And I was like, why is it so hard? Before I could lose this water weight in just 1 week, and now I can't. Mm-hmm. And I remember one night I was sparring, feeling really good because I just had these extra kilos. Coach is asking me, it's always a man coach. Let's remember that. It's a man's sport. It's a man's world. And the coach is like, oh, Sheila, how are you? How do you feel in between rounds? You know, you're like, after 3 minutes of just giving all you got. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm not even too much out of breath, and muscles are going. Sometimes your shoulders get tired. They start dropping, but I was doing well. So when I answered, no, I'm feeling good. I can do a few more rounds. The answer was like, oh yeah, of course you feel good. You've been eating.
Oh, that hurts.
Like, yeah, you're like, you start feeling bad about eating. So just because he knew, because they would weigh you every night. That's a normal thing in a boxing gym. If it's not every night, because maybe you're not in a season of fights, it's still every, I don't know, once a week, even just for curiosity. The coach, like, they even have the eye to see. They know you where you're at normally. So the moment you gain 2 kilos, they already see it. Maybe another, a regular non-athlete wouldn't care, or maybe they see it if you gain muscle and it's okay. But a man is always going to notice the boxer gaining weight. So I started getting more extreme. Okay, let's get even less carbs, which I already was doing less carbs. And at that time, I had already lost my period for, let's say, 4 months. This was, October. But I'm like, okay, I don't want to think about that now. Now I really want to focus on this tournament. Mm-hmm. So we continue, fast forward to December, and I get close to the fight and to the first fight. The thing is that once you say I am signed up for that weight class, so in my case, 141, you cannot change it last minute, especially at a high level with so limited participants. So there's only a few girls at that weight. You can't change it last time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I make it just by not eating, fasting as much as I could. At that time, I wasn't as extreme as prolonged fasting because I was training, but I would go a full day without eating or drinking, and without even telling my coach. The coach wants you to lose weight, but they tell you, no, you can't fast because then you can't train. Okay, but if you tell a person, yeah, of course you have energy, you're eating too much, of course that's you just get lost, and you're like, big challenge, big remedies, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So that's how it went. After this tournament, so I lose at a semi-final against a person that was in a national team already, with professional, following their diets, condition coaches and boxing coaches. That's how it should be. You need a person that has competences for your body composition, that knows what your routine is, and the coach that tells you, no, this is how you should punch and this is how you fight, get in, get out, move in a certain way. Mm-hmm. So I was still satisfied with my experience, but then after that I was like, okay, now I need to get some rest. So after 2 months, I gained some weight really fast, and at that time I did not want to weigh myself. Also, it was like, okay, now I moved, I don't have a coach yet, this is my time to recover. And recovery for me just meant, instead of boxing, I just run. So here I am. Now I just think that it's more chill, because I can do a slower run for longer, and I start the morning relaxed, and then it's okay. It's no stress. In my head, this was no stress. So, and you know the story with running too. So at some point I realized I gained weight, and I decided I don't want to overtrain. I'm just gonna eat less, and it's not working. So I discovered prolonged fasting. I just thought, okay, so after a certain, instead of just skipping breakfast, now if you go through a few days, of course you're gonna be in ketosis. I was obsessed with ketosis. So my longest, worst fast was 96 hours, and also going without water. Mm-hmm. And yeah, of course, you lose weight like that. It's a lot of water weight, and you feel awful. Like, don't do it as an athlete. But this was during the first confinement last May, so exactly a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I had nothing to lose. And later on, things reopened in the summer here. I don't know how it was in the States, but then in June last year, everything started reopening with restriction here and that. And I started fasting less, thinking, okay, now I'm at the weight I want to be. I'll just fast, depending how the scale goes, just a day of the week or so. And I was still not eating carbs. I was like, okay, now I can eat, and I'm still in ketosis though, so just eat fish, meat, maybe some vegetables, and that was it. And then one day I realized, okay, haven't had my period in a year and a half. And last time I went to the doctor, he just said it's normal for a female athlete, but let's do some research. And here we go. It's a thing. It's hypothalamic amenorrhea. Mm-hmm. And this was last August. And the day I realized that it takes rest, that it takes extra calories, and even gaining weight, I was free. I remember I was just resting in bed because, of course, I was always tired. I was just running 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And then working 8 hours all day, just moving around. I work in a gym. So you're serving people or picking up weights when you're closing the gym, things like that. And just being tired, realizing, wow, now all this work and I have to gain weight. Well, this is great. Mm-hmm. And I was just scared about losing weight and not boxing, not having that stress relief. That was either one thing or the other. That's sweat, that's being tired, that you have no choice but resting. So I thought that was life.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that's what it was, and also losing hair, we all know the symptoms. I was a bit freaking out, and I did some research. You start looking up how to gain your period back, what to do here and that. So fast forward to, so this was in August. So I didn't do the, how do you say, progressively increasing calories week by week, but I was like, okay, you just need to eat more. Mm-hmm. And I started just eating everything that I would crave. And this time not running to like those 6 miles. I can't use those 6 mile run to fix it anymore. So the weight, I gained so much weight in just 2 months already. I don't know, I refuse to weigh myself, but the weight went up really fast. And I remember getting comments, working in a gym, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Some people, are you okay? Like, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, or at least ask me if you can help me. No, like, you look different. Are you pregnant? Like, just straightforward. Or like, what is that? Like, looking at my hips, that is different. And so this almost keeps you from what you're doing and be like, okay, I gotta get back to that. I can't live like this. And I started being in groups and seeing that this is just part of the journey. And after 2 months of just going all in, I got my period again. I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. After a few periods, I decided I wanted to get back in the, I thought, okay, now I don't want to be lazy anymore. Maybe it's not a good time, maybe yes, but I need to do something about it and learn how to eat right. Mm-hmm. So I did some research, and I wanted to find somebody that went through it, that knew how it works, and also that can help me getting back into sports. And I found you, and I was like, okay, I never thought I would track macros because it was so much easier to fast. You don't have to diet if you don't eat, right? And so I started working with you in February already, and it's been the best thing ever. I think every athlete should, even not for recovery, but everybody should find a professional to help them with their nutrition. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, wow, that was a long story. I want to go back to a couple of those things that you mentioned. Yes. So 96-hour fast you mentioned, right? 96 hours. Yes. So how many days is that exactly?
That's 4 days.
4 days.
That's 4 days.
Okay, so how did it look like? Did you transition from not eating to not drinking water even, or was it like right from the beginning, no eating, no drinking? How did it go?
So at first I just wanted to do a water fast, and then doing more research about it, turns out that when you're dry fasting, the autophagy is 3 times as fast. That's what they say. And so I still wanted to drink water on the first day just to get rid of, I don't know, toxins. It just felt better. And then after the first day, and it depends also, if I had to go out and do something, maybe just work in the backyard, maybe I would drink water. But normally I would try to do it fast, also because then you don't have to go to the bathroom so much, or you really see how your body feels weaker and just sitting up and down, and you're feeling a bit of you're getting at the third day it becomes already a mystical experience. But right. I was even enjoying that, because it was like, okay, now instead of being fatigued because of a run and pushing, I'm pushing just discipline. I have to say, just like many people for religions, they fast, so that really teaches you a lot of discipline. And I found that I felt empowered by saying, I'm not gonna eat, and I was feeling so accomplished. And then when you get to the refeed, you just have so much appreciation for the food. Yeah. But these long extended fasts, I was doing them. I only did them last year when there was confinement and I was not fighting. If it was just to cut weight for a fight, I never did more than 1 day, because there's no way you can box in that condition. When you're just, even your eyes look different. There's no way I could have done it. That would have been dead in the ring or something.
For sure. Okay, so it sounds like things started to go really bad for you when you started running. So up until then, you had been boxing, eating fine, but then you're like, okay, let me run. And then you started pushing, running, and doing more of that. So that was probably something that kind of pushed you over the top, and that was just too much for your body to handle. So can you describe us, like, and at the same time you were still boxing too. So what did your week look like at your highest intensity, period?
Yeah. So let's say, so when I wasn't doing the teaching group classes anymore, I started using even more running, because I thought, okay, now I need to increase my total daily activity in in a way that instead of teaching those 4-hour cardio classes, now I only want to get it done in 1 or 2 hours. So burn everything. So I would run 1 or 2 hours in the morning, well, maybe one if I knew that I would train in the evening. But yeah, so the most intense was run in the morning, and I found it really, I thought, this is not even for the body, this is just for my mind, it's therapy. And then go box in the evening for an hour and a half, at least 2 hours, depending on the day, because this was 6 days a week. So, and then I would rest on Sunday. So the boxing week was usually Monday really intense with you start with muscles activation, moving, you're getting, your punches, you move a lot of core, even with not the act of doing abs, but it's just part of moving all your muscle, your body in a certain way to create power. And interval, you have to train your anaerobic endurance. So that's tough. That's of course gonna make you burn calories. But if your metabolism is down, you can be as intense as you want, and it was not working. So I'm surprised I was able to do that. Now looking back, I was like, wow, what did I do to myself? You got. And then also some power training with some weights, but that's not as weight training. It's just like punching with weight, so you were becoming faster. And I remember picking up maybe just 4 kilos. This was back in Italy, so 4 kilos, 8 pounds. Just throw 6 punches like that. It felt so hard. No wonder why. I thought I wasn't training hard enough. When you're so into it with no guidance, and you don't even want to tell the coach that you're not eating, then you just think, okay, then I have to try so hard. And then you get to Sunday or Saturday night where maybe you have some social life, and I would just cancel it. Like, no, I don't want to go out and drink or eat. Are you crazy? I have a fight soon coming up. I'm definitely not gonna screw up everything because of that. So I missed out on these social events, or even just being in the family. No, I'm the one that doesn't eat the pasta, and then the other relatives that you haven't seen in a while, like, why? But you look good. But you're fine like that. And I'm like, yes, but I have the last 2 kilos to lose. I have time, 2 months, but it's drastic enough, trust me.
Yeah.
So
that sounds
yeah.
very crazy. And you mentioned earlier that at one point, it worked well, just training really hard, getting the weight down quickly, but then it stopped working, right? Same thing didn't work anymore.
Yeah, before I started with the endurance, when at some point I just became with this habit of running in the morning, because I thought, oh, you know what, Muhammad Ali used to run 3 miles every morning, so I'm gonna do it as well. And if I skip it today, then I run 6 the next day, or even like you're retaining water maybe because you had some salt or you're constipated. I just thought 6 miles is gonna fix everything. And it doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
And it may work initially, that
True,
you do
yeah.
lose weight. Yeah, it works initially, but then when you try the second time around, your body's already, we've been there, we don't like it, we know how it is to to feel starving, we don't have high enough metabolic rate, and we're not going to do this time. And that's the big reason why a lot of times, like some kind of extreme diet works at the first try, and second time you try it, it doesn't work anymore, and then you just think that I only have to push harder, I just have to do more. But this is not the solution.
Yeah, you're just caught in that loop, because you're like, oh, but last time the weight came off just by not eating sugar and salt. That the first time it was so easy.
Yeah.
And the second time a little bit less. The third time is nightmare, and then you're forced to having to run and sweat with like sauna suits and
right.
And it was way too much. And again, I was scared of carbs, so you can imagine.
Yeah. And now you are eating carbs. You are eating 3-4 meals a day. What does your life look like?
Oh my gosh! Now I wake up and I have breakfast. And before I thought, like, you wake up and you stuff your mouth with whatever you're eating, maybe even cereal. Like, and I thought it was so crazy up to a year ago to get up and have breakfast before doing anything productive with your training or with your normal life. Now I wake up, I always make sure I have like those even 50 grams of protein, because in my case, I could not believe it. The first talk we had when you told me that I had to eat so much protein, it's like, oh wow, okay, I'll try. And the first week it was really hard to manage so much. Now it became a habit, and it's really not so hard. Everything, when it's a habit, is not a rule, it's not discipline anymore. It's just how, and I love it. I wake up, and if I'm not hungry, I just wait a little bit. I'll just get a little bit of, I don't know, cleaning the house, walk the dog, and then I'll eat, even just so that I know that I'll be good for a little bit. But for the most part, I got used to having the regular meal times. So I'll eat. It's not always the same, but I always make sure that I have enough protein. And then I can always adjust. If I didn't have enough carbs, I can eat them later on. But because I have to eat so much protein, I make sure it starts right. And after my breakfast, I just know that I have to keep moving without stressing myself. And then I'll have lunch. Depending on work, I might have a snack in the afternoon, or just wait to have dinner, and then if I'm hungry, I have a late night snack, which before I thought it was crazy. I used to stress if I was with my boyfriend and he wanted to have dinner, if it was 8 o'clock and he's like, yeah, but I'm not hungry yet, I would freak out, because I thought it was wrong to eat. Well, for me, it was a horrible idea to eat after 8 p.m. because then I wouldn't get enough hours of autophagy and all of that. But I didn't need all that autophagy.
Right, yeah.
That's the problem. And I was completely lost and brainwashed by all the information you find online.
Yeah, it can be confusing for sure. So now you're eating regular meals every day. We're not fasting anymore.
And a lot of carbs.
Yeah, right. A lot of carbs.
I'm finally the Italian that eat carbs.
Right? Yes.
My true self.
Right. You
But,
told me this funny story once when your was it your boyfriend's parents said that you were the one who made pizza with cauliflower or something like that. Can you tell us that?
Yes, because this was last year. Me and my keto were like, look, I'm making pizza, but it's not a real pizza. I would always say, because for the Italian pride, I don't want to present it as a pizza, but it's cauliflower pizza. Like, look, like a doctor said it's good to have because it's made with just extra cheese. That's what you're making the dough. So
Yeah.
it wasn't so bad, but don't expect to eat a pizza. So, and so they were all confused, like, why, like, you have the authentic recipe and now you're faking other things. And then you get offended if we cook an Italian meal and it's not right.
Right.
So now I'm not scared of food anymore. I'm not scared of carbs anymore. So if I have a night that it's with other people and I want to eat pizza, it's okay. Just don't, of course, that's not the best carbs you can have, but you can use it smartly. So that's the biggest win that I got. Like, working with you really taught me it. Don't blame the food. It's really what you choose, and also don't beat yourself up if it didn't go well. Like, every day you have a chance to fix it or to learn from the mistakes. That was the most important part. And yeah, so like, about the foods, that's a big win.
So how was the transition for you? So you said that you at one point, you gained a lot of weight because you started eating like absolutely everything and super quickly, and probably a little bit of like, I don't know, excess or not, but like a lot of sugar, a lot of like more processed foods. And so now you have made it like a little bit of transition towards healthier choices.
Yeah.
But you're still not restricted. So how did this transition go for you? And then of course adding macro tracking.
So the moment you decide to work with a coach, you're excited. You're like, okay, this is the beginning of a change, and I want to be myself again. So I would be committed, and I found it hard to do the part where you're weighing the food, because before, when I was, if I was tracking before, it was, type down steak, and then steak it is. You don't know how big it is, how many fats or what, or just like if it's a recipe that you don't know, you can't log it. It's still now is like that. But the best thing to do in that case is try to do home cooked meal as much as you can, and save the unknown track foods for the when you know it. This is helping me a lot. For example, if I'm really on point from Monday to Friday, I know that even I normally would have 2 cheat meals. I don't even like to call them cheat meals. Like, it's not a cheat. It's just, it's the the outside world.
I haven't figured out a good word for that, but I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, like, okay, nutrient dense food. Let's say unknown macros for that meal. It's okay, and sometimes I do expect that I will retain some water, and I just and I remember I always texted you, the weight is up, and then you asked me a few questions. Could it be possible this or that? And this helped me a lot, like analyzing what I did, but not in an obsessive way. It's just so that I don't repeat this, not to feel bad. And you're amazing at this. You make the client think about the action, and it's you don't create the resistance. Like, if I feel bad about something and I have more resistance, you feel so restricted that the next time you want to enjoy that cheat meal. This time is like, oh, okay, this food is, of course, it's got a lot of sodium, so I'm just gonna be careful. And honestly, right now, I'm not even doing this process anymore. I just know that I don't crave it. I don't crave certain things anymore. I just need that recovery part to just get it. If I want to eat peanut butter without realizing how much it is, I did it, and now I find it disgusting. But 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 I needed to listen to the body in that moment, and yeah, right now, like I will tell you if I have a week where I'm hungry or not. But especially now that it's been, how long has it been? 4 months, almost. Oh, no, for 3 months. So like I can feel the change. Maybe I just became more insulin sensitive because of weight training and a lot of protein. And I was surprised how now I'm like, whoa, I can still eat 50 grams of carbs. This is a dream, and I don't even want it. This is unreal.
Yeah, and let's say 50 is not per day. I want everybody to know that it's not.
No. Let's say that no. I ate, like, it's the end of the day, and I see that I didn't hit all of it because, well, in this part I didn't know. We realized only a few weeks ago that I needed to reverse diet. I would have never thought that was my case. I thought skinny people that want to put on weight have to reverse diet, but actually a broken metabolism needs to do that. And I'm really glad I trusted you with that, and with cutting down the cardio. Oh my gosh.
Talk about that next. So I remember for a while, you messaged me, you're like, oh my God, my weight is up, but that's probably because I didn't run last night. And I told you that this is like, even if you ran last night and then lost weight on the scale, this is water. And we don't care about that, right? We don't want to lose water weight. We actually want to like more sustainable change, which comes from fat loss. So it took a while for you to adjust away from that. I got to do cardio, right?
Yeah. I remember when we first started in February, it was like, no, I need to box like 2 to 3 times a week. And that was good enough. I lost the first water weight, so I thought, okay, I'm doing good. And then when I got stuck and we talked about it, you told me, why don't you give it a try? There was the 1 week that I was going on vacation, so I said, yeah, I'll have weights, but I won't be boxing, and definitely I shouldn't run. That I had accepted, and he said, give it a try. And wow, I was like, the weight was still stuck, or maybe sometimes it would come down then back up depending on the water, but at least it wasn't going up anymore. So, and because also I started eating more since working with you, because before I wasn't tracking. So after once I got my period again, and I felt like I don't need to eat all that peanut butter, example, whatever nutrient dense food, you still made me eat more than what I thought I should have eaten. So, and I started weight training. So you don't see the changes on the scale, definitely, until it's been now 3 months. And I was like, whoa, now the weight is coming down so fast. Like I'm not running. I'm not looking at my Fitbit to see how many calories I burned today or in this workout. And I remember also asking you one day, my Fitbit is saying that I'm not in the zone. Is it normal? And you said, no, definitely don't look at it. And that's good. That's another thing. Before I mentioned, we just believe whatever we find on internet, but also these machines. Like, it's a machine. Don't trust that you should be in that zone, that your heartbeat needs to be so high all the time. No. And then you get, oh, congratulations, because you hit this many zone minutes. Right. No, it's not like that.
It's a distraction. It's not necessary, just today I shared too on my Instagram feed that you're like, it doesn't matter how many calories your workout burns. This is not what we're after. Right? Because you may like look at your watch, like after 1 hour running, be like, oh, 500, 600 calories, cool. Right? But if you spend the same time strength training, you're increasing your metabolic rate. And even though 1 hour strength training doesn't, it doesn't show on the watch, it maybe shows you like 250 calories. At the end of the day, it's still better because it builds your metabolism, which is exactly what yours needs, because of like, all the things that you've done in the past. You put your metabolism through a lot. Right. And it wasn't even, last year you were still doing those really, really long fasts. So it's going to take a while to come out of it. And that's why, cutting calories and increasing cardio is not the right thing to do.
Yeah. And it's scary to think all of a sudden, like what you believe for years was wrong. but when you get to the point when you're so desperate that you're like, it's not working anymore, then you realize you shouldn't do the same thing.
Right.
It's not working.
What kind of changes have you seen since you've started eating more?
You mean in the energy, like a bit of everything, or
Everything.
Since I started eating more, let's say, so first of all, I had energy, and that was already from the beginning, because already the day that you told me that I could eat 200 grams of carbs, I remember after the call, I went to my boyfriend, was like, I should eat 200 grams of carbs. And he's like, yeah, so what? Like, he doesn't even know how much that is. Like, he doesn't care. But for me, that was crazy. And then I go to work and I'm eating, and of course I wouldn't go around saying, yeah, and like now I'm tracking, but I was okay if anybody saw that I had my lunches already prepared. Like, yeah, I decided I'm gonna stay on track. I would say what I'm up to without feeling conscious. Before, if I had to say, yeah, I'm cutting weight, I was always feeling like I didn't want to talk about it, because either a person that is not an athlete wouldn't understand, and they would start by, oh, but you look good. Mm-hmm. And I do nothing with that compliment. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're an athlete, you're not thinking aesthetic, or if you're thinking aesthetic, you have your own parameters. Mm-hmm. So that was one reason. And then second, I didn't want to hear other comments like, yes, you look pregnant again, or something.
Yeah.
So that was the energy, and just and being okay with even with eating in public. Sometimes in the past, I'd be like, no, I want to eat at home, and I don't know, I just felt like eating is such a bad thing to do. Mm-hmm. When you can just fast and become so mentally strong.
Right.
But yeah, I just felt so empowered because I'm not eating. Whoa. But no, having energy and like not being worried about going out or having carbs, yeah, that was a big win. And then later on, I started seeing that I can lift even heavier. That was progress. The first week lifting weights was a bit uncomfortable, not too much, but like when you do something for the first time, it doesn't feel the best. And then when I saw that I could that I could test myself every time, it became like, oh, okay. And I think the best is happening now. Like when I see my body really changing just from doing weights and no running. And some weeks I just don't box because of my job, and because I'm just accepting that this is not this is my like my metabolism recovering. This time of my life, I have to focus on that. We think women are multitasking, but when you have goals, you have to put priorities. I think that's important. Mm-hmm. I can't think, for example, if I had amenorrhea before, how do you think you're going to go in for a professional boxing career if you might risk like breaking your bones so easily because you're going to lose minerals? Yeah. So that's an example. And still now, how do I want to box if my metabolism is not ready to burn all those calories, but I need food to perform at such a high intensity? Mm-hmm. So I'm enjoying the journey, and but I would have never enjoyed it if I didn't have guidance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like what you said, that you can't do like different things that are like opposed to each other at the same time, right? You can't if you're metabolically like compromised, then you just can't like have a fat loss goal at the same time. These just don't go together. So you got to see what's the important thing for you to work on right now, and understand that this is a phase, and this is a phase that you cannot skip because you tried before, it didn't work. So okay, let's this time really work on it. Let's get you strong and ready, so you can later go back to more boxing and maybe take some of the weightlifting down, right? But there's time and place for everything. You just have to see what's the priority, what's the thing for my health that I need to do right now at this point.
Yeah, but also with the weight training, I noticed that now we change, we're doing splits and this and that. I think you learn how to work out better, mm-hmm. so that like having compound movement, it doesn't take, eventually I won't need to lift for a whole hour if I know that I want to box the next day. Like when there will be that day, I know that I don't have to go so hard. And
Yeah.
I think I can understand. That's another thing I was gonna say. Now I can respect my body, and it's okay if I'm tired and sore one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was new, because before it's like, you're tired and sore. Yeah, that's normal. That's when you should push even more. You're getting stronger, and
Yeah.
you're a
Sometimes it's
boxer. You
like,
shouldn't be scared of your own limits.
right.
And now I realize, yes, but it's counterproductive.
Yeah. Sometimes having this like very athletic mind can also be the best thing, because can also be not the best thing. That's what I want to say. Because you have this mentality power through, you got this, especially for you, because like you said, it is such a like male dominant
Yeah.
sport. So everybody around you has this like super testosterone mindset, right? Like, you got this, you got to do this, right? No excuses, blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
females are a little bit different, And of course,
Yeah.
also, like when you have a functioning menstrual cycle, which every athlete should have, then there's different phases there too, when you actually might feel less energy in the second half or the second. So guys don't know that, and male coaches don't know that.
No,
So,
they don't. And in fact, when I hear a guy or a trainer that is a man and is talking about females having to take care of that, I was like, oh, this is so nice.
right?
We need more people like you in the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely. When I see girls that want to do boxing or that are in the gym and like, yeah, I need to run, burn some calories off. I'm like, do you want me to talk about how I ruined myself with that?
Yeah.
No. Definitely, my best shape was when I was doing my thing with boxing, staying active, even with everything that is not gym related, work related, or boxing related. Like, just wanting to go out for a walk after you got your to-do list, and just wanting to do something for pleasure but with energy, that is a sign that I was healthy. And
Mhm.
the weight was, when your body is happy, the weight was good. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I really feel now, it's like, wow, it's so nice that now I have, signals that I'm tired, signals that that I had enough food, or libido. That's a thing because that was gone for for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, sometimes like, this is actually what life is. Can't believe I missed out. This
Right.
is what you are experiencing now.
Mhm. I know. It's like your eyes just open, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and sometimes I have some days where, like, when you have a lot of energy and it's new to you, that you don't know how to manage it, so you want to tell everybody.
Yes.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's
No.
a really good thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Good thing to have. Feeling energized, feeling happy, feeling like you're excited about life again, because that can go away too. Like also,
And
like,
excited about what is not easy or fun, but still, like, I have to go to work, but still I see some people, like, I interact. Before, interacting was like, oh, if I can skip it, that's better.
oh yeah, I
But even
totally.
in these little things, you notice if you're healthy or not. Even
Mhm.
in the little things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think it's
No,
fascinating.
thank you. I can't believe now, like, that you would ask me to share this. But yeah, if this can help any girl out there that is killing herself to reach her goals,
Do you
no.
have a final message for a girl like this that say that they're listening, they have a similar background? What advice would you give them?
Well, I would start saying, listen to your body, but if you are in a certain level, you already lost the signals from your body. So I would say, don't take recovery for granted. Don't compare yourself to those big athletes out there who are either men or who have a professional team behind them. Don't think that you got this just because you think what is healthy or not. That you know what it needs to be done. Definitely, like, yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
health comes first, and the performance will follow that.
Exactly. And you can't perform well if you're unhealthy anyway. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
See you again. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.